But we begin with Juan Mershaw's, kangaroo court in New York City. This nothing but bogus, politically motivated trial against Donald Trump has gone totally, completely off the rails, and we still have not heard from the prosecution's star witness. You know, the convicted felon, notorious liar, Michael Cohen. We'll have more on that in a moment. Now, this week, as a prelude to Cohen, the Biden-loving prosecutors called a career porn actress to the stand whose testimony apparently serves no other purpose than to smear, besmirch, and slander Donald Trump. On Tuesday, she horrified jurors with her, quote, so-called jokes. They were inappropriate, graphic stories, erotic physical gestures, totally unrelated to the case. And all of her testimony has been irrelevant and immaterial, despite being prepped by the prosecution. Wasn't that nice of them to prepare her? And today, during cross-examination, things got even more strange and maybe a little bit spooky. Even fake news CNN, they couldn't believe what they were hearing. Take a listen.
Nicholas asked if Daniels has claimed she can speak with dead people and that her house in New Orleans is haunted. I believe Stormy Daniels was involved with some sort of paranormal show at some point.
You have actually reached the limits of my knowledge of this case. I am not familiar with her paranormal work.
Remember the
first question I cannot answer.
I mean, literally, we are now in the toilet in the realm of paranormal activity. It was a lot of interesting and unexplained activity. A lot of the activity was completely debunked as a giant possum, she says, with a lot. Time to go back to D.C. and Jim Acosta. Jim, back to you.
Gee, thanks, Anderson. I don't know, are we watching CNN or QVC? That's the question I have. Right now, I mean, there were comments about candles and paranormal ghost hunting shows and so on. I feel like we're losing the narrative here.
Salacious material and talking to the dead. This is not a serious trial in any way, shape, manner, or form, but it wasn't all ghosts and spirits during cross-examination. Now, President Trump's attorney caught Stormy Daniels in what looked like to be a lie. Remember, Daniels said she felt pressured to sign the NDA with Trump because she feared for her safety. But during a phone call recording that was played in court today, Daniels' lawyer can be heard, telling Michael Cohen Stormy wanted money more than anything and was worried that she would lose leverage after the election. The trial is a disgrace. The Biden donating judge, Juan Mershon, should be ashamed for enabling this kangaroo court. He should have recused himself. Any guilty verdict should be easily overturned on appeal. But here's the problem. Will that happen after the election? That would be a travesty of justice. Mershon has already denied 2 motions for a mistrial, continues to muzzle Donald Trump with an unprecedented gag order, all while the prosecution and their witnesses, they get to say any and everything they want and even ask for gifts for their commentary. So you got a porn star who hates Donald Trump, coached by prosecutors, who has already been ordered to pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars that she said she's never going to pay him after a failed defamation lawsuit. She can say whatever she wants about Trump, as everybody else can, about ghosts and spirits and graphic sexual encounters that have nothing to do with the bookkeeping case. But Donald Trump can't say anything to defend himself against wild accusations from a person that seems to have a lot of problems. But this case is about to get even worse. Alvin Bragg's star witness, Michael Cohen, not particularly reputable, is he? 2018, Cohen pled guilty to 8 serious charges, including tax evasion, lying to a bank, lying to the Federal Elections Commission. He was also convicted of making a false statement to Congress for lying on Capitol Hill. Also, Cohen was recently referred to the DOJ yet again for prosecution over 6 other lies to Congress. So even more charges may very well be in his future. But don't worry, according to the prosecution, Cohen will definitely be telling the truth this time. You can totally trust him. Now, during the trial, Cohen has been spending hours live streaming on TikTok, soliciting gifts from his very huge fan base. Pretty pathetic. Now, recently, he wore a shirt depicting Donald Trump behind bars, and we're all supposed to believe that Michael Cohen has no ulterior motive in this case. And yet, thanks to a Biden donor, masquerading as a judge whose family may be compromised, who should have recused himself. Well, Michael Cohen can pretty much say and do whatever he wants. Trump can say nothing. Trump's legal team appealed the gag order today. Of course, that was denied by the Biden-donating judge. Judge Merchan is not about to restore President Trump's First Amendment rights. The Democrats have an election to win, and the judge is more than happy to lend a helping hand. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.